Hey guys, it's Stefan again with another video for you. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about and answer the question, what's the fastest way to achieve success with women and dating? So I've been getting lots of different emails and questions, how I can get there faster, what are the strategies, and the answer to this is basically, the three main things that I did for myself personally to achieve success with women and dating. And it's the same three steps that I use to achieve anything else. So let's jump right into the video, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Now, the fastest way, of course, is through modeling success. Okay? What this basically means is that success leaves clues. That if anyone is already successful at something, you can be as well if you just model them. Okay? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You've probably heard of the expressions OPM, other people's money, OPT, other people's time, and of course what I prefer it also is OPE, other people's experience. Okay, so you want to take the experiences, the knowledge, the wisdom of other people that have already been through the path, have already achieved the results and the success, and learn from their experience. Learn what they did. You're going to get there a lot faster if you trying to do it on your own and trying to learn the way and go through your own personal experience. Of course, you want to learn from your experience as well, but you can get there faster from learning from other people's experience. You can get the exact same results as anyone else if you model them. Okay, that's basically it. So the three things you need to model. Okay, number one are their beliefs. Okay, so you take someone that's already successful with women. They have the confidence, the certainty, they have the relationship that you want, they just attract women to them. They're like a magnet, right? So you need to find out what beliefs does this person have, okay? And the best way to do that is to ask them questions to elicit their beliefs. What do they believe about themselves, about women, dating, sex? What do they say to themselves again and again? What are the thought processes that they have going on in their head? You need to find out what those things are, right? So, for example, someone that is not successful with women doesn't have a lot of self-confidence, and they probably carry some limiting beliefs like, women aren't attracted to me, or, I need to be really good looking, or, I need to have money, or, whatever it is. It's hard to meet women. It's difficult. Women are a certain way. Women are flaky, whatever, right? They have these limiting beliefs, okay? Now, someone that's successful with women has totally different beliefs. They have different beliefs about themselves, right? They probably believe that they're amazing, that they're fun, that they're interesting, that they're attractive, that women want to be around them. They probably believe that they can attract women, whereas somebody that doesn't, that's not successful, doesn't believe they can attract women. They probably believe, all these different beliefs, whereas the person, again, that's not successful believes they're not good enough, or all those other things, okay? So you have to model their beliefs. So find out what they are. And a great thing you can do is just write them out. Write down what are the beliefs of someone that's successful with women. You can either ask them or you can just write down, what would I need to believe to be successful with women? What are the top beliefs I'd have to have? And then you can condition those. You can program those beliefs so that you start to believe them as well. Okay? So that was number one, beliefs. Number two is their physiology and their state. Okay, so basically physiology is how they use their body. How do they speak? How do they breathe? How do they move? Their eye contact, their voice, their body language, their physical body, their health, their energy. Okay, you want to pay attention to them when they are in that peak state and look at their body and their presence. All right, so basically, if there's a certain man that is successful with women, look at their body language. Okay, that person that's successful probably stands a certain way. They probably communicate a certain way. They probably project their voice loudly, use strong eye contact. There's a certain body language and physiology that you can model in terms of how they are when they're with women. Okay, so you need to model that physical presence and the physiology and the body language that they have going on. Whereas maybe for you or maybe for a guy that's not successful, they don't have that stuff going on. They don't have the body language, and they're kind of shy and they're kind of quiet. all those different kind of things that are going to be holding that person back. So, one of the things that I do is whenever I see a guy that's with an attractive woman, I always try to study the guy. I always try to figure out, what is it about this guy? What about the way that he's standing? How about his body? Maybe he's into fitness. He works out. Maybe he wears a certain type of clothes. Maybe he takes good care of himself physically. Those are all things that you can learn and model from those guys because they have the results that you want. So if you want that results as well, you got to do what they do, and you can get it as well. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But the physiology and their state also. Okay, the state in terms of how do they feel, right? So they have confidence, or maybe they're really fun, or they're funny. You got to find out what those qualities are that they possess, and you got to strive to have and build and develop those exact same qualities as well. Okay, so really pay attention to those kind of things. And number 3 is their actions. Okay, so what consistent actions do they take? What is their recipe or game plan? What steps do they take to get to where they are now? Their daily rituals, the syntax and the order is also really important. So now the actions are, in my opinion, more important in terms of finding a guy who wasn't naturally successful with women, because a guy who's just naturally successful didn't really have to take steps or actions to get to where he is, right? If you find a guy that was not a natural, like me for instance, I wasn't a natural. I was kind of geeky, I was nerdy, I was shy. I didn't have any success with women, and I got to a level of success with women. You'd want to find out in terms of that person, what actions did they take to get there, right? So instead of, another example is if you want to be fit, right? Some people are just naturally fit and in great shape. Let's say that you're overweight. Well, you'd want to find another guy who was overweight before and is now fit and find out their actions, because they were once where you were, and they can take you to where you want to go. Okay, so again, find out what the actions are in terms of somebody that was not successful. Find out what they did, how many days they went out. Did they approach women? Did they do certain seminars? What are the actions that they took? What are their rituals that they have on a daily basis? Maybe they have something they do to get themselves in a great state. Maybe they did certain things to change their beliefs, right? To change their physiology, all that kind of stuff. You want to pay attention and ask them and find out what those steps are. Okay, so if you take the same steps as they did, you model their beliefs and the state and physiology, you can get there as well. Okay, same process. Now, what are the best ways to model someone who is successful? And there's a lot of different ways. Okay, one of the ways is to get a coach or a mentor. Okay, extremely valuable. One example that we use at one of our seminars is, if you want to be amazing at basketball, right, and you want to model Michael Jordan, right? Well, you could, read Michael Jordan's book, and that'd be great. You get his beliefs and his mindset and all that kind of stuff. But if you go onto the court, you're not going to get the same result as Michael Jordan can. Okay, if you watch Michael Jordan speak at a seminar or something, that's a lot better. That's one step closer. But if you actually had him as their personal coach or mentor, then of course you're going to get there even faster than ever before, because he can work with you one-on-one and give you the direct feedback that you need to do to really excel and get there even faster. Okay, so find a coach, find a mentor. That's going to help you get there a lot faster. You want to find men who are naturals. Okay, so guys that are already naturally great with women, that have women with them, that have results with women. Those guys are particularly good to model their beliefs and their state and their body language. They might not be able to tell you the actions, but they can definitely tell you the first two. Anyone that has a result that you want, really, if somebody, for me in my journey, there's some guys that just had confidence or a great sense of humor or whatever it might be, and I try to model specifically those qualities from them. Books are amazing, audio programs and video programs. You want to, for me, I read books all the time. I'm reading like a book a week. I'm just constantly feeding my mind with new information and tools and strategies and the mindset, all the things that I need to be successful at anything that I'm pursuing, because I know I can get there a lot faster if I read books and model other people. Audio programs are amazing as well, and of course there's a lot of video programs that are available too. Seminars, events, classes, also an amazing resource to model. Seminars, you can find a lot of experts and mentors and people that already have success, and you can learn their strategies. You can learn exactly what they did, and all these processes that I just described here, they're all things that I've done for myself personally to get to where I'm at. Okay, I mean, we have I always kind of joke, for me it took me 7 or 8 years to get to where I am now, and if I had gotten mentors or been to the seminars that we have going on or read my book, man, it's like I would have gotten there so much faster. I would have saved myself so much time and energy and pain and money and all that kind of stuff that I went through, frustration. If I had just invested some money, and some time, and was just smarter about my journey, and just found people that were a lot better than I was, that I for sure would have gotten there faster. So those are the different ways that you can try. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's basically it. Some just more information for you that will hopefully help you along with your journey. So if you want to master success with women once for all, I've got a great book that's available that I highly recommend you check it out. It's called MasteringSuccessWithWomen.com. And it's a book that I've basically compiled the best resources and information and the things that I've learned to make me successful. And it's also stuff that I've applied for, hundreds of other men now that has worked for them too. So I hope you check it out. Otherwise, thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.